All right. Hear this, read this all the time. I'm gonna focus more on this bush hog because of the fact this one I've used it way more with the offset. We just recently started using that one. That's just a recent deal, but I'm gonna focus more on this bush hog. People say you run the. So we start with the PTO shaft. Well, if you're gonna run a bush hog on an offset tractor, you got to have an offset gearbox or twist it or whatever. It'll tear the universal joints out and this and that, this and that. It might come apart today in 10 minutes. This thing has got a lot of hours on this offset tractor. And no U joints has been touched. A lot of hours. We haven't experienced any problems running that bush hog at an angle like that. Now, and on this A, it was a bigger. This bush hog has been on this A till recently. I purchased a 140. It's been on this A. And as you can see, the A is in a bigger bind. It's in a bigger bind because the arms on this is shorter. And that's a homemade PTO. This is a brought PTO. It's not IH made, but it's an aftermarket one that a factory made. These arms are shorter, and it's got an overrun clutch on it, so it's in a whole lot bigger bind than that one is. That's how much of a bind that bush hog shaft was in on this tractor. We haven't had no universal joint issues at all. This was so much further back on the A, this part would hit here if you let it all the way down. Now it's all the way down and I got clearance because of the arms. The bush hog is further away from the tractor on this one. But the framing up here is different on this 4-foot one. We haven't had no universal. I try to grease them every time we use them. And we do a lot of bush hogging this time of year. No problems at no universal joints at all. I read this all the time. You can't use a bush hog on an offset unless the gearbox is twisted around or you got an offset hitch or whatever, yada yada. We haven't experienced any problems. And all the time that we done put on them, if the U joint does go bad, it's probably very bad to start with. Next thing. A Super A won't pull a 5-foot. A 140 won't pull a 5-foot. This 5-foot bush hog has been on this A till a week ago. I did some short clips. I did one video with that bush hog behind the Super A just to show people a Super A will pull a 5-foot in second gear. I couldn't keep that on there because that 4-foot bush hog would not work on this 140 unless I bought another PTO shaft. The PTO shaft was too short because them long arms on that 140 and no overrun adapter. This 4-foot, the shaft on the 4-footer was too short, so I had to swap them out or buy another PTO shaft. But it works better like that because the Super A is a few 6-7 horsepower less, so it makes more sense to put the bigger bush hog on the tractor with a few more horsepower. But this is 4-foot, and it drags it like it's not back there. This 5-foot ran on there for a long time. I bush hogging with this 140. Today's Saturday. That was Tuesday or Wednesday afternoon after work. In third gear. So, but I think, in fair comparison, I think this gearbox is geared lower than most, because this bushogg don't cut too clean. It cuts good, but it don't cut perfect. But we're not doing jobs for money or anything like that. So we're doing it for deers and the other hunters that hunt with us. We hunt with deer dogs, and people rabbit hunt. The rabbit or whatever comes out to a power line, they like to be able to see it to shoot it. So we try to keep all our power lines and the paths and all clean. So when a rabbit or a deer comes out, you can see it and shoot it. That's the purpose of the bushogg. If you got to catch a hunting dog, you don't want to pull up somewhere in a clearing and have briars over top your head you got to fight to get your hands on your dog. Because we deer hunt with dogs here, and they get some of the group of the guys, they rabbit hunt with rabbit beagles too. So that's the purpose you'll see so much bushogging around here this time of year. So we kind of clean everything up. And it's a appreciation to the landowner also. This is considered a privilege them letting you hunt their property. Token appreciation, in other words. Same reason we limb and prune and all that stuff. But anyway, this is my biggest part of the hunting club. We got other people do the pole saw work most of the time. I say most of the time. Sometimes I do it some myself. I do probably a third of the bushhogging and basically all the food plots and our gardens here in the neighborhood. We got 3 gardens here. But anyway, able to pull it. I mean, that's more of this story on this video. That check your gearing, your gear ratio. How many times you turn that PTO shaft to how many times that blade turns. I can do it real quick. I'm with 7 minutes in the video. I can do it real quick and show you what my gear ratio is. Don't want to waste my cream colored white. A little dot of paint on that thing. I hate to waste my cream colored beige white. This stuff white is getting hard to get. I don't think Track Supply is selling this no more, because they didn't have none on the shelf, and I found this on clearance. Usually when they put items on clearance, that means they're not gonna sell it no more. I didn't see none of the Agri Supply either. Some people say this paint is no good. Well, how much I got invested in it? It's dirty, it's filthy, it's dirty, it's oily, it's greasy, it's dusty. That's chipped off. I beat that with a hammer. Alright? I don't care what kind of paint you buy. Go buy a brand new vehicle and beat on the paint with a hammer and see how it works out. From Ford Motor Company or GM or whoever, Chrysler, Dodge, whatever. Beat on your paint with a hammer and see how it works out for you. Yeah, I chipped that off. But a hammer did that. Beating on that piece to get it to move. I made a mistake with this tractor. I painted it up, had it looking pretty, and didn't fix all my oil leaks. Now I'm making that mistake twice on this one. We're gonna fix all the oil leaks first. Made a mistake on this one, but it's alright. We work them, we don't put in the parade. Where was I going? We're gonna check the gear ratio on this bushogg real quick. Hate you. I think I'm doing this right. I hate to waste my beige white paint. Put a little dot right there. Might not be doing this right now. You never checked the gear ratio before on a bushogg. I think you count it as how many times turn that. Oh, let's talk about. All right, that side to side, then another on that side. One turn on this shaft, on this PTO shaft. Was about a turn and a half on that. Seems like to me that's really slow. Seems like to me that is really slow to me. So one turn on the PTO shaft at the back of the tractor is a turn and a half on the stump jumper, approximately. So that's a 1 to 1.5. I guess I'm doing that right. That'll be your gear ratio, 1 to 1.5. I may not even doing that right. Anyway, I turned that shaft one time and it turned that about a turn and a half. Like to me, it ought to be turning that 3 or 4 turns. Cause that's almost running the same speed as the tractor. Oh, well, I might not have a hole in the back of this one. Let's check this one. Now, this one looks like it cuts a lot cleaner. Really. Check this one. Check this one here. I can get the tip on the blade. Put a little white dot on the end of that blade. Hey, honey, can you come here a minute? I'm gonna check that one. That 4-foot does look like it cuts a lot cleaner. I put a little dot of white paint on that end of that blade. You stand back over here and let me know when you see it. Come back around. Checking the gear ratios on them bushoggs. About that same place right here. Let me know when you see that blade, but in that same place with that white dot on it. There's gonna be 2 blades. One don't have a dot. You with me? Turn him some reason.
Oh, back. Oh, too far. Come here, just a tad. Just a tad. Oh, right there.
I'm not a very smart man, but seems like to me this one's turning slower than that one. Cause I didn't get a full turn on this. Well, no, it'd be about the same. Because that bolt's supposed to be here and it's straight down. It'd be about the same gear ratio. Huh. I thought this one been faster because like I said, this one seemed like it cuts a lot cleaner. This one balls grass, whereas that one still got the original metal in it. I cut that metal out with the torch because it was balling up so bad. I cut that metal out the back. Thinking about doing that one because of the grass balling up. Y'all see any of this cream colored IH white, y'all better be buying it unless you can get it from Case IH. And it looks pretty good too. So I did my seed hopper with. You know, we're gonna put one of these on one day. We're not gonna touch. I got this new. These $30 some. I'll order me the centerpiece for this. But these $30 some at Agri Supply. That's the one. The International Farmall steering wheel. $30 some. You beat it. You got the chain, the right chain for the. Get the right chain. Like a year flow gate opener for that hopper around there. I'm gonna replace all that in the agitator. It's in real rough shape. But we're fixing to go do some bush hogging. I'm gonna get all my lights together on it. Get all these oil leaks fixed, and we're gonna do a repaint job on this. But this paint job gonna be different than this. I did this paint job. This paint job I kind of roughed it and didn't fix all the oil leaks. I took the tractor, cleaned apart in 3 pieces, and didn't fix all the oil leaks. That was real smart, wasn't it? Anyway, that shifter. I don't think that shifter made like, I think somebody welded an extension on that one or something. Redo that also. Anyway, a little bushogg, a little bushogg comparison. Just cut 3 videos: bushogg comparison, tractor comparison, and the overrun clutch adapter comparison. We're gonna go out bushhogging. I'm gonna try to video a little bit on the tractor. I'm not sure who's gonna run this one. I'm real funny about this. My wife and my uncle don't want to wreck in it and turn the radiator and the sheet metal all piece on the front. We got some young family members around here, but they're kind of reckless. Want them tearing up the equipment. But anyway, honey, you gonna ride this one?
No, not right now.
No, not right now.
I'm washing clothes.
Anyhow, well, it should be another comparison video. The steering wheel, I'm not sure the inches, I haven't measured them. Steering wheel on the A is a whole lot smaller. It's different too. I think it's maybe 4 inches of difference. It steers a whole lot better. It's a whole lot tighter getting in and off of it. You can see how close you are to the seat and how close you are to the seat here. A big difference, almost twice as much space in between the two. That should have been in the other video. Anyway.